Welcome to this video tutorial. This focus is on paper 3, the short questions, and this video tutorial aims to explore what the short questions are like, 4 mark and 6 marks, and what to look out for, and I'll be referring to summer 2017 paper 3 questions with a mark scheme and examiner report feedback. So a 4 and a 6 mark question. These questions will ask you to outline 2 on a 4 mark question and 3 on a 6 mark question. Factors, reasons, ways, problems. You've got loads of ways that it could be asked, this question. For example, outline 3 ways that corporate crime is invisible could be a possible question that you might be asked. So how could you prepare for these 4 and 6 mark questions? So you can prepare for these by asking your teacher for a question bank. They might have come up with their own, or they might have compiled some ready for you for each topic. You could even write your own for each topic and prepare your own mark scheme and share them with your friends in a study group. Alternatively, if you just want to cheat, you can just go to someone like the Hectic Teacher. She has loads of question banks on there for every topic, every exam paper. There's loads on there that you could use. And I've also come across Steve Chapman on his website, the sociologystuff.com. The links are there. Also has things on there as well. And I've noticed if you are doing OCR, there is stuff on there for you as well. So the 4 and 6 mark questions. So your answers should be short. For each point you ask for, 1 or 2 sentences will be enough. Start each point on a separate line. And if you're not sure if all your points are right, but can think of an extra one, and you've got time, you can put an extra one, and the examiner will mark the things that are correct. So on both these questions, you should be spending about 1.5 minutes per mark. So just to clarify, that's 6 minutes on question 1 for the 4 mark question and 9 minutes on question 2, which is a 6 mark question. What you might find is that you might answer these a lot quicker than this, which is perfect, which means that you can spend extra planning time for the longer answers, and it is about making sure that you're not writing too much for these. I've seen students that are writing the same amount for a 4 mark question as a 10 mark question, and you don't really want to be doing that. Okay, so it's a really good idea to time yourself when you're practicing these questions. So let's have a look at the 2017 paper questions. My main advice is when looking at these exam questions for the first time, and when you open the exam paper, question 1 is the first one that you'll see, is not to panic. Take a real big deep breath and read the questions carefully. I suggest that you read the question once, then the second time underline the important trigger words or hooks that have been placed in the question, and if required, read a third time and do small annotations about possible reasons or points to help organise your thoughts. So in this question, the trigger words in this question is, we're looking for reasons, ethnic difference and criminal conviction rates. And it's often really useful to refer to specific social or ethnic groups in this question, for example, black, Asian, white, and indicate the rate. Is it higher or lower than usual? Likewise, if you've got a question like this but on education, I would expect you to do the same there as well on paper 1. So as you can see on the mark scheme, there is a range of different reasons identified, such as police are being racist, relative deprivation, etc. However, this will only earn you 1 mark for the identification points. You have to provide an explanation to be awarded the 2nd mark, and you'll see that indicated by the +1. And this explanation point is usually linked to how does the ethnic group appear on the criminal conviction rates. So for example, this first one here, the police are racist, mean that they target black and other ethnic minorities and less likely to stop and search white people, meaning that they don't appear on the criminal conviction rates. So the tip is, what I have used quite a few times there in that explanation is the word "this means." And this shows that you are logically explaining the point. So the police are racist. This means they are more likely to stop and search white people. This means they are less likely to appear on conviction rates. Therefore, this is one of the reasons. Okay. So as you can see on the examiner comments, just to remind you, the examiner comments are and commentaries are released after the exam, and it's a summary of about how each question was answered generally, and you can gain really good insight here to what the examiner was looking for. These are available for all exam questions in all exam series, and they are available to access on AQA. So I quite like looking at these because it'll give you a good indication about really what they were looking for, which gives you a little bit more detail than what the mark scheme sometimes gives you. So as you can see, students were able to identify a good range of reasons. It was generally well answered, this question, and this is the bit that I'm really interested in, is why that students failed to score marks, and where they did fail to gain the marks was when they repeated points and failed to link to the second part of the question effectively, which was the conviction rate. Okay, so looking for those hooks in the question is really, really useful for you in order to maximise your marks. The second question on the 2017 paper was a real popular one, and speaking to my students, they found this was a really nice one. It gave them a little bit of confidence quite early on in the exam, and most students were able to identify some functions of crime. And the hooks in this one is functions and crime and deviance may perform. So as you look at the mark scheme, once again, you can gain 1 mark for the identification point. For example, you've got things like boundary maintenance, social change, safety valve, warning signs. They were the popular ones. They were the ones that I expected my students to mention. And then 1 mark for the explanation of how that function is performed. The range of functions that you can see I've identified tend to be from the functionalist perspective, and that was quite popular. Another point that I'd want to make is it is useful, like I've said before, start each of these new points on a new line so the examiner can see that you have given 3 distinct points. And referring once again on the mark scheme, it was also well answered. The functions were the functionalist ones, but what also was credited was Marxist functions as well, those that are performing for capitalism. Okay, so just to summarise, read each of the questions at least twice before answering. Highlight and annotate that to organise your thoughts. Make sure that you start each new point on a new line. It just makes sure that you are identifying at least 2 or 3 points, whatever the question's asking, whether it's a 4 or a 6 mark. Ensure you give an identification point and an explanation which links to all the hooks in the question, and practice by either creating your own questions or using the question banks provided by your teacher, the Hectic Teacher website, or sociologystuff.com. So really short one tonight, but thank you for listening. Check out some podcasts that I've started to produce on Anchor.fm, such as how to plan essays and exam questions. Also, there is a video tutorial on answering the short questions on Paper 1 Education that I've already done, so you might want to refer to that. But as always, all the links are below. But as always, have a great day. Any comments, you stick them at the bottom and I will try and get back to you. As you will notice, I reply to every single comment that people make, so by all means send me a message. Have a great day and thank you for watching, and happy revising.